thank you everybody for joining, and good morning or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. And for those of you that will be watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Super appreciate it. My name is Leor. I run a newsletter called Exploring ChatGPT on Substack, and I'm joined by Wyndo. And I was really looking forward to this one. So, Wyndo, if you want to give an introduction for yourself.
Thanks, Leor. Yeah, my name is Wyndo. I'm running Substack called AI Maker. So my focus more on the exploring practical AI use case for typical knowledge work. More, yeah, there are some few ways that you can use AI, whether it is thinking partner or like automation. So I'm exploring around those area. So yeah, excited to have this session with you.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I've been following Wyndo for a while now. And then I realized that you also joined that group, Cozora, Cozora.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's a really cool community of AI creators that I definitely recommend. I'll leave a link for it a little bit later in the live stream. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Thank you everybody for joining, and a special thank you again to Wyndo. So like Wyndo mentioned, it's a really interesting topic. So the first topic we're going to cover is called AI as a thinking partner, not a productivity tool. I have my own opinions on AI as a tool, quote unquote.
Right.
But I wanna mention a recent note that I saw that Wyndo posted, and then I want you to elaborate on that. So in your note, you have one line that says, "AI gave me something I didn't know I needed," and I think that that's to me that's one of the most like interesting parts about how you can use AI because it can answer questions or give you questions to ask, right? Because it's sometimes you don't know what to ask and it can help you down that road as well. So could you elaborate on that a little bit, Window?
Yeah, I think sometimes like when we try to prompt AI, right? We try to assume that we basically already know what the things that we want to get answers from. So and turns out like most of the time that when we assume that we already know something, we basically still don't know anything. So I think it's really important whenever we try to prompt with AI is to explore and not to pursue like the answer right way. So that's why I'm always and also like since also like AI is kind of like patching method and probabilistic model that basically uh, get to the answer based on the predictive models, but also like it will leave more possibilities that we can explore based on their first response. Right. So what I'm trying to, what I was always try to do is basically not to trust the first answer and always explore beyond the first answer. So always challenge whatever the AI give you the first outputs and turns out whenever I try to basically learn and keep asking or like what am I not considering in this type of assumption or like topics, then I learn something more that I couldn't imagine before, which gives me more like I think more like expansive thinking in some way that that enables me to find the right approach of the problem that I'm trying to solve. I think it's around those kind of like explorations that I find really interesting by using AI as a thinking partner.
Yeah, absolutely. I have exploring in my name, so I like exploring too.
Right.
Uh,
That
Nikki
explains.
says Nikki says I think it is bias, and actually I agree. And that's something special, which actually leads right into my point about this topic. Which and I wrote about this a little while ago. I think AI can be used as a tool, but I don't think it is a tool. And my reasoning that I think AI is not a tool, and I mentioned this before, but for those of you that are here that are new to me, it's a very simple answer. And that answer is a tool does not get to know you. Everybody's
Right.
experience with AI is an individual experience, and it is bias. There are ways to get around that bias, to ask it for multiple sides of an argument, and to explore it a little bit deeper than your initial question that you may have. And in terms of AI as a tool, that's fine. Most people use AI as a tool. And I'll go into this just briefly, because again, I mentioned this before. there's three main use cases for AI. One, um, which is the majority of the population, probably 90% of people use AI like Google, just a
Yeah.
better version of Google. Two, I call them the specialists. Those are people that use AI to build with, whether you're building with it on Substack or you're building websites and apps, or you're an entrepreneur using it in your business. Those are the specialists. That's probably, I don't know, 5%, 6, 7, 8%. And then there's probably
Right.
1 to 2% left, which I call the explorers. Hence my newsletter name, Exploring ChatGPT. And explorers like to dive a little bit deeper into, oh, sorry, I have a 2-year-old upstairs and she's getting ready to go to
No worries.
preschool. So there might be a little background noise. I apologize in advance. Yeah, the explorers are basically people that dive a little bit deeper, dive down the rabbit hole and try to explore AI on a deeper level. For me, a lot of the times that's like moral and ethical issues. Like I like to explore things like sometimes taboo topics. Like a lot of people are scared to talk about, like for example, consciousness and what it means to build a form of intelligence and things like that. And then I will mention again, all of these things point back to yes, you can use AI as a tool. And there's a fourth group, which is a small group, but it's growing, which is people that actually form a relationship with AI or use AI to help them in their relationships. And this is, to me, it's a little bit iffy. It's a little scary because I think that personal relationships you might want to keep that personal um,
Right.
and not let AI interfere with that. But I've heard actually stories of people that it helped them a lot. Um, so yeah, everybody has their own individual experience with AI. It can definitely be used as a tool, but it's not a tool because the tool does not get to know you. And that's how I summarize this topic for me. Was there anything else you wanted to add as a AI as a thinking partner?
Yeah, yeah. So I think give as you mentioned, like I think more than 90% people use AI as a tool, right? So the I think the mindset of like tool is more about extraction, the way that we extract any information from AI, and I think our default thinking is basically just to get the answer as soon as possible, which is the mindset is coming from the extraction. Like, okay, there is this tool. I heard this tool is amazing and can get me from point A to point B fast. And by default, like we tend to go for speed, and we just like uh, do it for quick answer and just, hey, can you do this and do that, and can, yeah, which is just get to the point A and point B faster. But I think like the bigger, or like the more optimistic way that I uh, try to treat at using AI, or like to basically explore the capabilities, is basically about like building and as well as the explorations, which is di- trying to extract, not only extract but also explore the topics that I'm trying to learn, and also trying to slow down a bit. It doesn't have to be like a really slow, but you can also take it like slower than most people actually do, or like our default thinking actually do, which is try to basically explore and not to accept the outputs right away, and try to basically challenge every output and then explore any alternatives. So this is what I've been doing as well by combining with building. So I try to basically not go into straight to the solutions and just explore, is there anything that we can do from here? There are, and you can also do research and find potential gaps, or like do run like SWOT analysis as well. Uh, which is for sure it takes so much time, but given like the AI itself is already smart enough to basically run research for us and then give us back like the uh, the most relevant answer, given the context that we give to AI is basically proper enough, then yeah, from there we can use our judgment to decide which one that we need to pursue, and which one that actually just a distraction and we don't need to add into our solutions. So I think, yeah, I think at the end of the day, like every exploration requires our judgment, which one to pursue. So I guess like by combining this as and cheat information collection, and then through our like judgment and experience over the years, then I guess we can find a better solutions by stress test ideas first before uh, getting into the solutions by default thinking, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say again, thank you everyone for being here and participating in the live chat. Typically, we get to the live chats towards the end of the stream, but I noticed a couple here that are on this topic, so I will just read through them here. Joe Fuentes says, as a neurodivergent person, I find AI to be to be fantastic as a thinking partner slash sounding board, and working iteratively with AI is really important. I think there's a lot to be said about the idea that Gen AI produces and the human filters disposes. I think that kind of touches on what Wyndo just said. Like it's up to our judgment and to keep the human in the loop and to not just use AI as a tool, but to use it as kind of like you said, like a sounding board, like a back and forth type of partner. Because AI is naturally built in a way where it fills gaps. Like if you go through, for example, I'll give you a personal example recently. Obviously, so I started a YouTube channel about a month ago, and a lot of the times I want to dive into my analytics and things like that and kind of map out, for example, what the rest of the year is going to look like. And as I do that, or as I try to optimize thumbnails and titles or whatever it might be, I'll ask it a certain question, and that conversation can keep going forever because it will keep telling me, well, there's also this thing, and then there's that thing, and if you want to know how other creators do this and that, and so it actually introduces new questions for me to ask that I wasn't thinking about, which is really special. Nikki says, "Thank you for confirming my beliefs." Yeah, it's AI can be very agreeable and very biased, and one of the I think easiest ways to get around that is to ask it for multiple sides of the argument. You can ask it something as simple as 3 words, which is cut the fluff, which means just like cut out all the nonsense. Um, and then let's see, Athena says animals are used as tools that's similar to AI as far as getting to know a tool and one knowing you. Yeah, I don't think animals should necessarily be used as tools. Um, luckily the horse is not used as a tool anymore because we have cars. But um, I think in terms of like a tool, for example, like a technological tool, AI is not that. It's similar in a way to the internet. The internet also gets to know you in terms of they collect your data, they sell it in a massive data broker economy. No way around that. But AI just enhances that at scale to a point where, especially if you have memory turned on, if you use
Yeah,
ChatGPT, you turn on memory, like it knows you better than you know yourself at a certain point.
yeah.
So yeah,
Can I add something as well?
sure.
So there is like a one hack that I basically been doing so far. So whether you use ChatGPT or Cloud, so you can have like a projects, right? So inside of projects, so I make the AI to be by default itself, it's challenge me. So and then I so let's say whenever I try to so I have a projects for my newsletter, so in the projects, whenever I share some ideas, so let's say, hey, next week I think I'm gonna write about nano banana or like AI agents, right? But since like I think we have this problem that AI is so psychopathic, and they try to be supportive with the ideas that we give to them, right? So by set them up in the project or like project knowledge as the challenger. So whenever I give some ideas, it will challenge me, but instead of like challenge me by being so fake or like challenge me by being just just to get to the other side to become my opponent, right? Because like in the projects, you can have this context, additional context about your projects and everything, right? And those data is very valuable. So it's really important to give those data first. So whenever I ask some ideas from AI, it will try to challenge and argue with me for the as the first response whenever I give my idea. So I think it really because like whenever we have something new or like something like novel idea, right? We get to so excited and we rarely like I think we somehow kind of like flying. but we rarely touch the ground, right? So by making AI kind of like challenging us at the first response, I think it's really helped me to basically see the on the other side, see the things that I barely noticed at the beginning, and from there it will help me to basically fine tuning and eventually find a better versions of the first idea that I gave the AI in the beginning. So I guess that's really impactful for me to set the AI as the challenges first, and then from there we run back and forth and we chat through, and then eventually we'll come to the other side. It's sort of like this agreement. Okay, I think this is the better idea from compared to the first idea that I threw to ChatGPT or Claude.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think again, thank you everyone for participating in the live chat. I will read off a few more in a bit here. But I think this actually ties into the next topic really well, which is um, building AI systems that compound. Um, and an extension, not just prompts that expire. So I'll touch on that a little bit, and then I'll let Window go into it. And thanks, Window, for bringing up these topics because these are actually your topics, but I can relate to them. So basically, in terms of building AI systems that compound, I can give my own personal experience in how I use AI. Um, I still am a very big ChatGPT guy, and I rely on it very heavily. But I think that being too reliant on one model is probably not a good idea, and you should be able to work across multiple models. Um, so I can kind of touch on how I combine different AI models and prompting across models. So the most relevant experience for me recently is kind of my combination of Substack and YouTube. So basically, I use multiple tools now. Um, for Substack specifically, it's still mostly ChatGPT. And then I also do a lot of AI image generation. So a lot of the times I will get my prompts from ChatGPT and use those prompts for YouTube thumbnails, for Substack images, etc. And even on the YouTube side as well, I use a tool called Descript, which a lot of the times I will get those prompts also from ChatGPT and then take them over to Descript. And recently, I think that Nano Banana 2 has been really,
Right.
really good, like amazing. And I've been
Yep.
using that now for thumbnails, and it's been way better than ChatGPT or Dolly. But I'll still use my prompts from ChatGPT. And I think once you find that model prompt, you can use it across multiple different AI models and optimize it that way because certain models will be better than other models at specific things. Um, so basically, I think it's just to tie it back to what I said earlier, it's good not to be too reliant on one AI model and basically experimenting. You don't necessarily have to jump in and buy the paid subscription right away. Like you can just experiment, see what works for you for your use case, and then take it from there. So I think that's for me. That kind of wraps up how I compound AI systems. I basically have a few, probably five, six, seven different tools that I use for Substack, for YouTube, and even for my own personal life and business as well. And I'm able to kind of
You lost. You couldn't hear you.
you can
Okay.
you can
Oh
keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah. So I think the main idea for system that compounds is I so we have all these models, like whether you use ChatGPT and then Gemini, Grok, or Cloud, but and also like but the way that I'm thinking, I think it's true that first we need to learn or like be able to use multiple models because from each model it will teach us our own taste basically because like so for me let's say I really like ChatGPT for brainstorming sessions because I think the way that it thinks more broad, I guess, while somehow with cloud it it more it is more like narrow but really focused. So that's why I still use yeah my main one is within cloud, but also like in some way Gemini is also really good for like uh, getting to the right answer or like more concise without any over explaining to what happens with cloud, right? But I think eventually like we'll need to find the right AI models for us that suit our whole workflow, because the premise of the thing that we discuss on the system that compounds is more about like we have all of these models, but the way that we work is still copy pasting from one AI outputs to another, or like to from one AI outputs to another. Uh, to 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 our workspace, right? Whether we work on Slack or whether we draft email, whether we generate content on Google Docs or generate data on Excel and so on. But the way we work is still kind of like copy paste from one AI to another. And the system I mean is basically like you need to find the right AI that suit how you work. So let's say if you work most with the Google ecosystem, then Gemini may be your choice, or like uh, Cloud has MCP and so on. So I guess like the one thing that I really like is basically to run whole my workflow inside of Cloud, and then which is this is also like the example that I'm taking from my newsletter. So all of my newsletter, I use Cloud for everything. So for generating draft and editing and distributing to social as well, I use Cloud. So I guess like when you try to compact everything inside of like whether one or two AI models, the productivity improves so much. So I become less likely to basically copy passing everything and just let Cloud to do all of my work end to end. And also like I use another AI automation to handle some of my research. So I think like we need to I think as AI gets smarter over time and their answer gets better, I think we need to evolve from copy pasting everything into our workspace to find like a really suitable workflow that suit with how we work, right? Whether we work on Notion or Notion also has an agent, so you basically can uh, work on Notion, so you don't need to basically use another AI model because you already can use Notion inside everything. So I think that's kind of like mindset that I'm still trying to explore and still trying to deepen. Because like yeah, at the end of the day, we need to make sense of how we use AI and how it will impact into our productivity. Because in some way, I feel like in the beginning we are the middleman of the we are the middleman that copy paste everything, but we need to think beyond that, where AI need to sync with how we work, so it will have more context, and context is way more accurate than just prompting or like just having a long prompt. So context is way impactful. So I guess like to really find the right workflow for us is really important to get that massive productivity boost that AI has promised for us as well. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of like copy pasting prompts from one tool to another, I think one important thing to mention on my end is that actually, I'm sure for a lot of people that use AI probably feel the same way. Um, it's gotten so good that you don't have to create the prompts anymore. Like it's
yeah,
obviously
exactly.
gotten to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
point. It's
yeah,
like I'm not gonna make a prompt that's anywhere near as good for a YouTube thumbnail that ChatGPT could um, lay out for me. I just happen to find that, um, and I'm doing this more and more. I'm experimenting with different models, and I'm finding that some are better than others for specific things. So I think that kind of ties up that topic there. Let's see what we have in the chat here. Let's see. Joe Fuentes says on the idea of Gen AI as a tool, I would argue that there are tools that could be customized slash adjusted to suit your needs and preferences. Gen AI just does that in a much more advanced way. And then he says, I read an interesting piece yesterday how adjusting your personalization settings for tools like ChatGPT to be more adversarial
Right.
actually improves output accuracy. Yeah, I've heard about this as well. I think it's that's super important. Um, if you want to like actually, I think dive deep into AI and use it in a way that's different than other people, you have to kind of get rid of that bias and allow it
Right.
to actually give you the answers you're looking for and also give you the questions that you didn't know that you were looking for. Kind of like in Windows Note. It all ties back into the AI gave me something I didn't know I needed. And I think that that quote on its own is so powerful. Um, so yeah, anything to mention on that window?
Yeah, I think yeah, I think it's really important. Yeah, it's really important to get over that bias, and also like given ChatGPT has memories, I think that also makes the outputs more personalized and more accurate as well. So yeah, I think it's really important to maximize memories, and I think also like the I I find interesting about memories basically like memories is more about us to understand ourselves better because memory is about the friction that we have between AI outputs and our taste, right? So that's what I've been feeling so far because like whenever AI generates some outputs and we don't like it, but somehow we just get rid of I don't really like it and but somehow we cannot explain why we don't like those things, right? And whenever I find that friction, uh, I try to ask I don't really like this, but I couldn't explain why I don't really like this. Can you break down into w- into some like major concerns on your output and explain your reasoning? I think from there is it really helps me to basically understand what sort of my taste like and what can I learn from here. And then you can just ask AI to basically okay, based on what we've learned so far, and you know my preference, you know my taste, and can you update this into memory, right? And then it will update you the memory and then yeah eventually it will get better for sure but I guess like it's really important it's also like our job to basically know our taste and sharpen our judgment as well and by taking things slow again this is like by taking things slow and try to really understand what we really want when we try ask some question with AI, right? And as AI gets better, like I don't see like we will need like a very long prompt whenever we want to prompt something with AI. Because I think in the age of agent, you just set goal and your intent, and then the agent will help you get there, right? But then like the process to get there and what get there looks like or what the success looks like, it's basically up to us. And it's our job to basically, yeah, sharpen our judgment and tell AI, this is why I don't like, this is what I like. And can you adjust your uh, thought process to get to the things that I want?
Yeah, I think the AI agent topic is a huge one as well. We should probably cover that next time. Um,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I will say, like for me, a personal example again, back to YouTube. There's a tool called Descript, and basically there's a little AI agent, and it's called Underlord. I don't know why they called it that. Maybe they want to scare you. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but it's interesting because as AI is getting better exponentially every day, and I notice it with every tool that I use. But specifically with Underlord, it's you don't have to give it these long prompts, just like many other agents and many other models. And you can just tell it what you want and what your goal is. But what I find is that still with these modern systems, a lot of the times you get stuck kind of in a feedback loop where it fixes one thing that you ask it to
right,
fix, and then something else gets messed up. And you're kind of
right,
going back and forth with it. And that kind of
yeah,
also falls back into the whole memory topic, which is why I think it's actually, unless you're totally against AI getting to know you, turn memory off. But even if you turn it off, they're still collecting your data and they're still going to be making a profit on it. Um, so yeah, basically, let's see. We got another one here. Martin White says it does not fit the definition of a tool. It more fits the definition of a machine built by humans to perform tasks. But AI has reached a complexity going beyond that definition too. Yeah, I think that touches on it perfectly there. Um, I also don't think it fits. It can be used as a tool, but I don't think it fits the definition of a tool, like a hammer and nail type of thing. Hey, there she is. Come here. Sorry, guys. Come, boy, come. Be quiet, okay? Yeah. Um. So yeah, let's see. Let's keep going here. The best work I do: structure with ChatGPT, Gemini for research, Claude for polishing, script reviewing, but I never leave nothing copy pasted. Um. What do you think about that window? I think for me personally, I do, um, like I mentioned earlier, like I will take prompts and spread them across different models. So I do technically copy paste prompts from one model to the other to get certain things, which certain tools are better than others.
Yeah, but the copy paste you mean is more about like you are refining your own outputs, right? You are refining your own work, right? Which is that's a good thing. I mean like if it I mean like our job is basically to stress test any outputs that I generate. So I guess it's really so I guess I have seen many people basically stress test through multiple AI and just make the AI battle against each other, and then eventually it will find the right maybe like the right outputs through their consensus model, and eventually you get the better outputs. I think that's yeah, that's not, that's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like sometimes I feel like it's not the efficient way to use it, but it's but if you still need to refine through multiple models, then so be it. So there's nothing wrong. Uh, yeah, I think that's how I think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Before we get into a couple more comments here, my 2-year-old has found her way downstairs, and now she's with me. For those of you that are watching on mobile,
Uh,
you probably can't see her, but
but there is
uh,
one question like what do you think about so I think like for me especially we sometimes uh get maybe me like get stuck on over exploration with I try to uh, explore more things and eventually become overwhelmed myself, and then yeah, become overwhelmed myself, and then okay, then I feel like I need to stop before my head blow up, right? So I think it's really important to find the right process and notice like if we become if we drifted away from our goals and we try to satisfy some part of our brains that want to get that answer and explore without ending, and then eventually you just become you procrastinate your work, right? And you try to explore more stuff with different angles with different models, but then when it comes to the work, then you haven't done really you haven't done any work yet. I think yeah, it's very important to find the balance there and not to get drifted away from our job of doing AI, which is to have us get better at our work and try to balance with exploration as well.
yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming. It's very overwhelming
Yeah,
because there's so much out there, and there's more and more every day. Um, so yeah, I will read off a few more chats. In the meantime, before I do, I just typed in the chat. That's the YouTube channel. If you guys would like to subscribe, it is free to subscribe on YouTube. And that's where the live stream will be posted as well. And yeah, if everything goes well, me and Wyndo and I will be doing these weekly live streams together. So I'll read off a few more chats and then we'll wrap it up because I got to go to work and Wyndo probably has to go to sleep soon because it's a 12-hour time difference. um,
no worries.
yeah, so let's see. I'll read off a couple more and we'll wrap it up. Um, let's see. Um, Annotated Memory says the best work I do: structure with ChatGPT, Gemini for research, Claude for polishing, script reviewing. But I never. Oh, I already mentioned that one.
Yeah,
Joe Fuentes says a question as simple as "Are there any gaps in my thinking?" can give you some really good results. That's yeah, I agree 100%.
yeah,
Um, let's see. Vale says excellent perspective, guys. Thank you, Vales. Yeah, these are really fun live streams to do. Um, I do live streams with a few different creators, and everybody kind of has different specializations. And I really like Wyndo here, and I reached out to him because I felt like in terms of actually exploring AI on a deeper level, we can kind of relate there. Um, so let's see. Um, Annotated memory. The more superficial we get, the more AI is going to have a disappointing output. That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Um, Joe Fuentes says also important to curate your saved memories as sometimes ChatGPT will remember things that are unimportant or can draw inaccurate conclusions it saves to memory. Mine decided that it should never use semicolons because it misinterpreted me once. Um, that's an interesting point. I've never
Yeah.
actually curated my saved memories. I just have it on and I let it go. Have you
I
experimented with this?
Yeah, I curate. Be, yeah, because like you, because whenever I try to ask something, right? So there are like certain outputs where it refers to to like irrelevant memories basically, and the memories that it capture or try to refer doesn't really correlate to the task that I was asking. So that's where you need to basically curate the memories, because like the memories that doesn't is not relevant and doesn't do a good job to really understand your task and your goal. So I think, yeah, it's really important to basically curate this. And I also have this problem as well with Gemini, where whenever I try to ask something and then it will refer to the previous past conversations based on what I asked, but it doesn't really correlate or relevant with the question that I'm currently asking. So I think that's where you notice that, okay, then we need to manage and curate these memories because it doesn't serve us anymore. Because there are, yeah, eventually we evolve as a human, and some memories no longer relevant for us, and it's time to leave them. So yeah, I think periodically we need to do this. I agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. Maybe I should try that. Again, sorry for the background noise, guys.
No worries.
I don't know if anybody has a 2-year-old out there. You know how it is. So yeah, I think in general, I really like the topics that we covered, and I really appreciate everybody for participating in the live chat as well. Um, let's see. Yeah, Digimilly or Digimilly says lots of people don't know that you can curate edit the memory. It's an interesting point. I think I definitely got to experiment with that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
because the button is not like really obvious. You need to go to the settings, you need to go memories, and then from there you can just remove. Yeah, it's just really weird user experience, I guess, because like the impact is so good, but if you keep it that way over time for a long time, then it will impact your outputs, and maybe some the memories doesn't serve you anymore, and you need to edit it, but somehow the feature is hidden inside of the setting. And yeah, eventually most people just accept whatever the memories that they have, and they rarely edit it. So I guess, yeah, it's just weird experience for me. But yeah, I think we need to have this education and insight that basically we can curate our memories.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and actually, this is one of the really cool things about people in the live chat. They're mentioning things that we didn't think about speaking about, and so it's really cool. And again, I've never tried it, so I'm going to be trying that soon. So yeah, I guess we can wrap it up there, Window. It's been a really good chat. I really appreciate you joining me.
I
Um,
appreciate you as well.
yeah, and again, here I'll paste it one more time before we end. Um, that's the YouTube channel. Feel free to head over there. That's where the streams will be posted. And me and Window will also be hopefully continuing to doing weekly live streams. Um, and we'll see. Maybe he will open his own YouTube channel as well, and then we'll be posting on both, or we'll just keep it on one. But we'll see. We'll see how we lay out this model. So again, I really appreciate everyone being here and for engaging in the live chat, and a big thank you as well to Window for joining me. I was really looking forward to this one, Window. Obviously, we had some
Thanks,
technical
Leor.
difficulties. We had some. I might have hit my
Uh-huh.
mic. I might have muted it, but it's all good. So yeah, anywhere you are in the world, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day, And thank you for joining us. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.